Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world, and welcome to this week's Intuitive Healing channel on Gift of Healing TV. I'm sorry, folks, I'm laughing because we've had so much fun and we've just got Ada Marie to the computer, our guest this week. Bear with us because we haven't even had a chance to chat before we've started this evening. But first, I'm delighted to welcome Ada Marie who's joining us this evening to share what is a seer. But what I'm going to first and foremost do is introduce her to you. I'm going to read a little bio out of her. Ada Marie has been an internationally known teacher, lecturer, and consultant for over 30 years. Growing up on the eastern Montana prairie, Ada Marie was taught herbal medicine and intuitive insight by incredible seer and natural healers, her grandmothers. In any accident or health crisis, they would without hesitation apply immediate care using their divine sight, folk wisdom, and healing knowledge that had been passed down from generations before them. For the past 30 years, Ada Marie has combined her initial schooling and extensive specialized trainings with her innate healing abilities and divine sight. Drawing from these, she helps people release the limiting roadblocks that stifle health, careers, and relationships. She shares her unique skills in customized sessions, revealing each one's path for total regeneration. Ada Marie has brought her teaching abilities to television. She has produced 3 series consisting of 10 half-hour shows. In each series, which air nationwide on cable TV and are also available on video. Ada Marie, welcome to the program and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and I'm happy to be here today. And I want to thank the Flying Guitar Company here in Oracle for allowing me to use their studio. With all the kinks we've had, this is wonderful.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you, and a great big thank you to Rocky. And I don't know Rocky's brother's name, but Rocky and his brother for all the support that they've given you and making this happen, because it's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Well, they've been wonderful, and they worked hard at this. So,
brilliant. Ada Marie, please, will you start? I know we've shared your growing up, but I know that you've also shared that there was an incident. You got very severely stabbed. Can you share just a little of your story before we go into answering that question, what is a seer?
Okay. Well, I guess what you're asking is the last event. There's been so many events in my life that this last one, in Friday the 13th of 72, when I was stabbed 26 times, fortunately, with the help of probably the finest physicians in the world, and you know, many hours in surgery, they brought me through, and they were very happy to be able to give me maybe a year to live. That was Friday the 13th of 1972. Well, today is, let me see, what is today?
8th of February.
On a Monday. And here I am, and looking like the best I can look for that incident. I took 3 stab wounds that could have killed me, 1 in the shoulder, 1 in the heart, 1 in the lung. My arm was severed. I had 5 stab wounds in my stomach. I had numerous stab wounds in my chest. I had my colon completely severed in 3 places. And other than that, nothing really serious. But you know, again, this was my early training, was that I knew that I would be okay because my grandmother had appeared to me 7 days before this happened with her thumb over her third eye looking at me, and she didn't smile. So I knew, Sarah, that one more time I would walk with death. This would be the 3rd time, and I would walk with death one more time because I'd already been there twice. And because that was the reading that was given at my birth, that was it. This was the third time. So this was, being shot, being stabbed, and being beaten. That's it. I'm done. Now I'm a girl. I'm a little girl, and I can do anything I want. But I have shared the healing I received, and every single person born on this earth comes in with their life, their word, which they must keep, and the assistance from God. Every single living person has sight. Every child has sight when they're born. And if that is given to them, and like my grandmother taught my cousin and I, we were real little. When something happened, she explained it. So as we grew up, we knew a lot, but most people take their kids and they won't listen to them. They won't try to explain. So these little children, thumbs are on their head when they're little. And when they grow up, they have to start all over. Many people have called me and said, well, when I was 10, I saw this or I saw that. I said it was true and correct, and it happened. Yes, it did happen. But I've learned not to tell people what's going to happen, because then they blame me. They say, it's your fault. You made it happen. Well, you can't make anything happen through God that isn't positive. Everything is positive. Every single person has positive sight. And if they're using that, they can ask for anything and get it. They can get it. It's theirs to have. You can say, okay, Father, now this is what we require. And if we require this, we will receive it. And many people have a lot of sight. There's psychics, there's mystics, there's all kinds of things. And you can grow in your sight as you feel you want the responsibility. The thing is, your sight is a responsibility. It's as much of a responsibility as driving your car correctly. I know that sounds funny, but it is. You have to live a way that is within you and not deviate from that. That is your sight. And it tells you if you want it to grow and get to the higher stage every time, then you have to live that way. You have to be able to be healthy, because if you're going to have sight, you need health, right? If you're going to have sight, you need to keep your word. If you give your word, keep it. Amen. Now that's not easy for people to do. They'll say, "Oh, I'll be there at 5:00." They're not there. Or I'll do this. I'll take this. I'll mail it for you, and then you find it 3 days later laying on the floor of the car. Those things are not. Those are not acceptable. So there are a number of things that you need to learn to understand if you want to raise yourself to the stage of a seer. And what is a seer? It is someone who can clear their channel, completely forget every single thing on the earth plane, be completely silent in the head, not in the room, in the head. And then there's other steps, but this is just a quick run through. And then you get to that silent place and wait. Now that's the click. Wait. People don't have the patience. You have to wait for that answer. If the answer comes, it's going to come right out of your mouth. And believe me, it's absolutely correct. If the healing comes, it comes down through, goes through your hands, and you send it, and it hits the mark. A lady called me up and she had broken her wrist, and I said, your wrist is perfect. Well, today she is back playing ball and doing things, and she is perfect. But that perfection was sent instantly. The other night before last, a lady called, and I had treated her mother many years ago with a treatment, and she didn't have to have open heart surgery. Well, she called, and I said, well, your mother needs to do this particular thing and she'll be fine again, because they said she had 2 clogged arteries in her heart. Well, I said, this is what she needs to do. And she said, I forgot all that, but that was 20-something years ago. So again, when you have sight, it has to come truly from here, up here, down here, and out here. You can't make it up. And that's a problem with mysticism and psychism. Sometimes they just want to be answered. I was asked to be on television in California to take over a show. And when they interviewed me, I said, I can't, if I don't get an answer, I cannot give it. I will not give an answer I do not get. Well, you have to do that. When you're on the show, you have to be able to have an answer. I said, well, then I can't do the show, can I? Because I will not do that, because when I get over there on the other side, I don't want to have to pay for all those mistakes. And believe me, when you face that man or that energy, whatever you want to call it, that divine presence, when you face it, you're going to see every single thought, action, and deed that you have done on this earth. Now, thoughts are things, and if you think negative thoughts, you have negative reactions. If you fear things, you're going to have negative reactions. But if you say, okay, get behind me, Satan, this will pass, then your energy will raise higher and higher and higher and higher until you can, in fact, make anything that you choose to happen if you have lived that life. And people work for me, and they either love me or hate me, because I have certain things I will do and certain things I won't do. And I don't think I'm an ornery person, but I think that I know what would happen if I did these things where other people could maybe do them. I couldn't do them because my sight is more important to me than anything else. My sight is important, Sarah. And because of that, I try to be understanding when I see people doing things, and it hurts me when I know what's going to happen in the end and they do it anyway. That is very painful to me. And I have worked with people. I have a man right now that is 92 years old, and he had a heart attack when he was 58. And I went and administered to him. He lived in the East Coast. I was there for a month, and we went to the doctor, and the doctor asked him how many years ago it was since he had his surgery. And he said, I just had it a month ago. I'm here for my month's checkup. And the doctor said, you are? So he gets out the chart and he looks, he says, well, you are. So, but you see, he changed his energy pattern where he was critical, where he was angry, where he would tell little stories to get away with something. He got the message to make a change. And today he's still alive. He still lives in West Virginia. So that happens when people really realize that they are responsible for their thoughts, their actions, and their deeds. And that is what growing in sight is. You have it, I have it, everyone has it, but it's how they grow in their sight, just like you grow in whatever your profession is. If you're a dancer, you become a good dancer or not. I would say that if anybody is really interested in becoming a seer, they have to live a certain type of a life. They have to have a certain energy of action. They have to see the truth in everybody. I can read everybody's auric field if I just hear their name. I can look at somebody with a broken leg and know what is going to get done and what they're going to have to do to get well. So I don't always open a channel because I don't always want to know what's going on in somebody's head. So I only open a channel when I'm asked to look for something. But people call me from England. They call me from Australia, from Japan, from all over. And I can tell them on the phone when I'm talking to them what they need to do or how they need to do it and what will work for them. And not many months ago, when the first Malaysian plane went down, one of my clients called me and said her husband had booked a flight on that plane. I said, no, he didn't. Change that flight. That flight's going down. And it did. And then the next one came along and somebody said, well, I said, I wouldn't go if I were you. Well, they went. They're not here. But it's always a choice. A lot of people who have to fly a lot call and ask me if the flight is okay. And in most cases it is. Most of the time it is. So that's, now, do you have any questions about that, Sarah?
Okay, folks, please, if you've got any questions for Ada Marie, please ask them, because it's really important that you do, and that's what she's here for. So what I'm hearing is that as much as it's a seer, and we think of see as in seeing and using our eyes, it is actually very much about just opening. So I don't see things, I don't hear things, but I sometimes find myself knowing things and thinking, how the heck, where did that come from, whatever. And so a seer isn't necessarily somebody who literally sees.
It comes from the mighty presence. All sight comes from your mighty presence of God. That's where it comes from. A little 3-year-old child can give you information that would shock you, and it's correct because their sight is open and they can see, you know. And I didn't realize how fortunate I was that I had my grandmother, my great-grandmother, to train my cousin and I in our sight until later years when I found out that people, they had it. Okay, this is a very fine business. This is just an example. This young man has built a business. He has a very fine studio. He has a very wonderful business here. And as long as his energy is true and correct and honest, he will grow and grow and grow. And one day we'll be able to say, may we talk to Rocky? And there'll be 2 secretaries to get to Rocky. But that's okay because he has put his heart and soul into his business. And he has been directed by the higher forces to be able to succeed. Correct? Yeah. Now anybody can do it. Thoughts are things.
And it's about all of us honoring what we are here for, our path, our journey, our gifts. And everybody's gifts are different because we need every single gift to make the world go round.
Right. And if everybody was kind to each other, the world would be wonderful. Because how hard is it to be nice? How hard is it to be nice? I had a client who was always pretending they were sick, constantly in the hospital pretending they were sick. And one day I went to see this client one morning, and he was on the phone talking to somebody, telling them how much pain he was in and how he hurt and how all this stuff about how terrible he was feeling. And the doctor came in and was standing beside me. Well, it was a university hospital, so, you know, it's a big place, but he's going on and on to his friend on the phone about how terrible he felt and how sick he was. And then he hangs up the phone, he turned around, he saw me. And then the doctor had stepped behind the curtain. The doctor stepped out, and the doctor says, well, how do you feel? And he says, oh, I'm just fine. Well, they caught him. They caught him in his own game, you know. But he didn't realize, because he never looked up to see anybody standing there. And then they treated him quite differently. So again, whenever you're doing something that is not on the up and up, chances are the universe is going to do what? It's going to catch you. It's going to make it known. So there you go. I mean, it's amazing how things can be made to happen without you, just because you shouldn't be doing it. You know, just you're not doing what you're supposed to, so you are going to get caught. And that happens all the time with people. So be careful what you think. Guard your thoughts. Your thoughts are as important as the food you eat. If you eat junk food, you're going to have junky thoughts, right?
Yeah.
If you eat good food, one of the things that would help people a lot would be if they would take 1 day a week and they would fast on water, and just drink water that whole day and allow their system to get rid of whatever is in it that shouldn't be there, they soon would have no headaches. They'd have peace of mind. They would be calm. They would be quiet. They would feel good. So if people are listening and really want to feel better, they should try that. Just one day. You can pick any day you want, any day. I suggest you pick a day of the week so the weekend is free so you can eat what you want. Because that's really the thing. I usually use Wednesday because Wednesday I have appointments, so I don't eat all day Wednesday, and then therefore I've cleaned out my system by Thursday morning. It's okay. You see, it just you pick and choose what's good for you. You can't follow, like people give you a diet. That's the worst thing you should do is diet. You should listen to yourself and know in yourself and be honest with yourself. That's the kicker. Be honest with yourself and not eat or do the things you know are harmful to you, because that takes your mental pattern and gets it all divided and crazy and screwed up. So the real important thing is to remember that thoughts are things. And no matter what you do, if you don't guard those thoughts, honey, you're going to have trouble. Everybody is.
Oh, that's brilliant. So really, I'm just getting a sense that it is about stopping, clearing your mind, and being and listening, about being open. It's about being honest. And
Right.
that honesty is somebody asks you to do something. Do you know what? That
If you,
doesn't feel right to me. I'm really
right.
sorry, but my answer's no, rather than, yeah, I'll do that, and then never doing it. Just be totally honest, and it's beneficial to everybody.
Right. You have to keep your word. God gave you your word. And then he gave you assistance through sight to be able to grow correctly and to do what's right. Our world would be at peace forever if it wasn't that people were, uh, selfish. They want money, so they want to do anything that makes money, and they're selfish with their money. Uh, those people suffer. And they do suffer because they're constantly trying to figure out how to get out of the jam they just got themselves in. So, and everybody else who has a peaceful life is perfectly content because they usually have a good understanding of talking to God or to Jesus or to the divine presence, whatever they want to call it. And if they are silent, they will get an answer. The answer does come. And you just have to, but if you don't ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find. Right.
Yeah.
So you must be able within your heart to be able to freely ask and then receive. Now some people will not receive. They refuse because they want it to come from here, but it's coming from over there. And so they turn it down. So that again is the problem. They are not willing to receive from where it's coming from, and that's important. That's important that they don't put those perimeters out there. That they are open to be able to be one with the universal consciousness, which has something better for them. I always think if it don't happen today, it'll happen tomorrow, and it'll be a better solution. But I'll get a solution that I can work with. And that's what's important. Be honest with yourself. You know, you have to be honest with yourself and say, okay, this isn't working the way I thought it would. It's not happening. I can't put it together. Look at what we did with the show. He went through 3 computers to get the show together. And he did it like he knew what to do. And that's what he did. So, and it's okay. It's wonderful. What can I tell you? Uh, it's just the fact that he was thinking and thinking and thinking, and one computer did one thing, and he had to get another one, and then another one did something, and here we are. So all I can say is it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Because if we weren't supposed to do this show, none of them would have worked, would they?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it is very much a matter of and I think it was a program called, and somebody else may have said it as well, but it was a program called Touched by an Angel. And that's been re-showing here in the UK. Actually, it's one of the Freeview channels. And God always answers. Sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes
Right.
the answer is no. And sometimes the answer's not now. But the no isn't no. It's actually yes, not now. I've got something better for you. And so we should never, if we ask for something, don't stipulate. Don't be too specific. If you're asking for support, be open to how that support comes. There's a brilliant thing that's gone round on many of the internets and emails, etc. And there was a great big flood, and this man was stuck on the roof of a house, and he was asking God to rescue him. And a boat came along, and he said, no, 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 it's all right, it's taken care of. Then a helicopter comes along, and he said, no, 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 it's taken care of. Then another boat comes along, no, 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 it's taken care of. Then he drowns and goes to heaven. And God said, what did you want me to do? I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter.
Because he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. And that happens with a lot of people because they think they're better than, or they think they want just one certain thing, which is not good for them to begin with. You know, people say, well, you don't really care. It isn't that I don't care, but why should I get upset when something isn't working right? I have to find a way. And that was what I was taught as a child. My dad said, you can always find a way. If you will look at it, work with it, you can find a way to make it work or fix it or do something that is better than. And being raised on a farm and we milk cows, I used to say to my dad, someday they're going to make a machine that milks cows. Oh, honey, just keep working. And I say, someday they're going to make a machine that washes clothes. Honey, just put the clothes through the wringer. And someday they're going to make a machine that washes dishes. And honey, just clean the kitchen. So, by golly, today they have all those things. I didn't make them, but somebody did, so they proved me right. So we didn't have electricity and we didn't have running water on the farm. We hauled our water in 50-gallon barrels and used kerosene lights. So, that's so many years ago. But I know how to live in that kind of a life. I know how to build a fire from scratch without any fuel oil. I mean, I know all of those things. So they have been pretty handy on occasion, and it's been nice to be able to show people how to do something like that in case they ever have to do it. When I left California, a whole bunch of people said, "You can't leave because what are we going to do if something happens?" I said, the same thing. You do the best you knew how, and you get by. That would be it. So I guess, Sarah, all of the things that I have learned, that I learned early on about my sight from my grandmother, and that is, this is something I will tell you: never, ever, under any circumstances, tell anybody anything that they don't ask you about. If they don't ask you, don't tell them, because they don't want to know. I mean, that's just the way it is. You're not doing them a favor, and you're certainly not doing yourself one. You have to be silent. When people call me, I tell them, if I get the answer, I will give it. If I don't get it, I will not give it, but I will not tell you something you did not ask about, because that is wrong. That is an experience that they have to have, or they would ask. So it's real important in your seership to be direct and to not put things out there that you are not asked for. If you're asked for it, you can do that. Otherwise, you cannot do that. And I think that's an important thing. I do help people raise to their seership. They have to call or email, and we set up a program for that. And I'm willing to do that. But because each person is different, and in that difference is when the real, true seership comes to them. When we reach that place where they are not afraid and they are not questioning, then they're taking another step toward that seership. And it has to be on an individual basis. It isn't it isn't. If most healers really understood that the healing is not coming from them, the healing does not come from me, it comes from the divine presence of God, and it comes down through my head to my heart, and I send it through my hands. And in doing so, that responsibility is that I do send directly whatever I'm given, and I don't always know. So you just it's a sense of divine consciousness, and you can't alter from it. I don't watch television. I don't read the newspaper. I don't read novels. I just spend my time trying to stay as calm and as peaceful and as happy as I can, so that when a call comes, I can go into the silence, and that's what I do. I go into the silence and I wait for the answer. But oftentimes I will say to the person, now be sure you want this answer, because inside I kind of know it's not the answer I would like to give. And I will say, are you sure you want this answer? Or are you really ready for this answer? And if sometimes they say no, and I say, that's fine. That's fine. Because I don't want to, some people can't deal with the answer. They want to know, but they do know inside of them. They just want to know, but they don't want to hear you say it. So you don't say it. You don't just, but you ask beforehand, do you really want this answer? That's an important part of it. And I think people should know that.
Yeah, I think it's very much a matter of, are people ready? And it's their choice. To me, it's also about, I actually remain totally detached from the outcome, because it's not about my choices. It's not about what I think or what I do. And you're right, the energy comes through. It's not from me
Right.
or anybody else. And it is also offered to that individual. In the way I feel about it, it's offered to that individual for the individual to do with it what's totally right for them on a higher level. So if
Right.
they choose not to take it, or if they choose to do with it something totally different to what we expected, but it's still that detachment, it's still allowing their choice, allowing it to be what's totally right for that individual.
And it's true. In California, I taught a 2-year course that made people able to read auras, be able to identify things that were coming prior to their coming, that they were able to actually, some of them even learned to apport, because I can apport myself from here to there and come back and momentarily go over and visit people for as much as 5 or 10 minutes and then return to my body. And I taught those classes, 10 sections, 10 weeks, 10-week classes for 2 years. And at the end of 2 years, I could ask them a question as if I was having a reading, like, do you think my liver is all right? And they would say yes or no. And they would answer me. And I would trust that answer because I had trained them to be able to look into the body and to be able to see. And when someone calls me and they broke their leg or they had surgery, prior to surgery, by the way, let me share this. Prior to surgery, anyone who's having surgery, put the room in purple, the doctor in purple, the instruments in purple, the nurse in purple, and the patient in purple. And send that ahead of the patient. Like, okay, they're having a 10 o'clock surgery. 4 in the morning, I start sending the purple. And one lady had a very serious surgery, and she wore purple. So Marilyn and I sent purple. She wore purple socks. She wore a purple outfit. They had a purple robe for her. The room was in painted purple, and the instruments were in purple, and the nurses were in purple. And she came through that 5-hour surgery perfect, perfect. So that's something that people can share with anyone that's going, no matter what the surgery is, to be able to have that divine energy, because purple is divine energy coming down through you. And a lot of times when you're calling on that energy and you're silent, like this morning waiting to do the show, I was in the car sitting and I was silent and I saw the purple surround me. So I knew that the show wasn't going to be mine. It was going to be theirs, and they were going to tell us what they wanted us to know. And that's what I've got. I have a file here. I haven't even opened it.
Oh no. I totally trust with all the programs. I obviously have my guests coming along, and we've got an idea of where we're going. But beyond that first introduction and that first question, I have no idea. I don't organize the questions. I haven't got a list of questions to ask. Not unless it's something specific somebody wants me to ask, because this is about, but we obviously do, folks. If you have got a question for Ada Marie, please do ask it now before we get to the end of the program, because it's really important, because the information that comes out is always going to be what the people who are listening, whether they're listening live, whether they listen to the video later, whatever it is, whenever people come and find this, it's the information they require at that point in time.
Okay. Now, if they were, did you put up my phone number or my email address at all on the show? Have you done that?
No, we've put your website. I don't know whether you've noticed, but your website is actually under your name. So every time you're visible, your website is available under your name. Are you happy for me to give people your email address?
Yeah. Ada Marie.
Okay. Because actually, what is it? Because I've just got your Gmail one here for some reason at the moment. So it's Ada Marie
at thegoldenoracle.com.
The golden. It's all right. I'm no good at typing. Oracle.com. It's Ada Marie at thegoldenoracle.com. So, folks, if you wish to contact.
My contact number.
The phone number, but bearing in mind that this is going out everywhere, so it's probably better if people just email you, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, that's okay with me too.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and the website address is
the golden website address is the Golden Oracle. That's the name of my website, the Golden Oracle. And I have to tell you something. This is really funny. Your auric field has gone from a light blue to a clear blue to a electric blue, and now it is is very pink. So that's amazing. That's amazing. It is just amazing. So I'm glad that what we have done has been, I think, good for you. So is there anything else that we need to do?
I don't think, but I don't think so. But having said that, obviously everybody's keeping quiet, bless them. But please, if you wish to contact Ada Marie, I will put that her email address and her website. Well, the website's already with Ada Marie's bio on the Gift of Healing TV page, website on the About Us page. So please, if you want to find, and I'm assuming you can contact you through the website as well. So please go and look up Ada Marie and everything that she does. It's been such a pleasure. But have you got any, you or source, spirit, whatever, is there a final message that you would like to give people before we close the program?
There is something that it's a code that I live by, but it's just a message, and it is to live every day to the best of your ability and help everyone you meet along the way. For it is in that lifestyle you raise your vibration little by little until you finally reach the top, as far as you can go, where you can say, I am sending divine pure love and light, and that divine pure love and light will reach around the world. So when I tell someone I am sending them divine pure love and light, I am sending that. I am not sending physical, emotional, or sexual light. I am sending a divine pure love and light, which gives them everything that God can offer.
Yeah.
So people mix it up. They think that physical love and physical energy is divine. It's not. It's human. Divine pure love and light comes directly through the heart and out. Never gets below the waist. So remember, that is very important to know. That's where your energy comes from.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. So I'm saying that if people would just try, if they will just try to get over being opinionated, and judgmental, their life will get a lot happier a lot quicker. So try it, folks. It works.
Oh, staying out of judgment is the best thing to do. It makes life so much easier if you stay out of judgment. Jay says, wow, what an interesting subject. Really enjoying it. Thank you both.
Okay.
Oh, Ada Marie, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you with us here this evening, or it's lunchtime for you. Thank you so much for joining us. And yes, folks, I'm in the UK. Ada Marie's in the USA. There's a 7-hour time difference between us. But it's been an absolute pleasure. Please do check out what Ada Marie does. And if you feel like contacting her, please do. Had some wonderful conversations with her. So please do make a point of checking it out. Whether you're watching this today, tomorrow, next week, next month, it's really worth sort of just checking it all out. And next week there are 2 programs. Patricia Iris Keren's show, she's sharing 4 top tips to de-stress. And then on Wednesday next week, it's your program. It's a conversation with you, with me. Join me, ask me questions, because I have no idea the contents of the program. I just felt guided that that's what I was meant to do. So I would like you to join me. I would like you to ask me any question you like. Heaven forbid. Oh dear, what are they doing to me? But you know what? I will answer, and I will just go in and I will just bring whatever the universe brings. I will trust. And if there's no answer, I'll tell you there's no answer. I'm taking a leaf out of your book, Ada Marie, but I do. If I don't know an answer, I will say I don't know. I can only answer from a perspective that I am given an answer to, but I hope you will join me for that. And if you can't join me for the live program, but you would like to ask a question for me to answer, please will you email me at giftofhealingtv at gmail.com with the heading subject question. Give me your question I will do my best to come up with an answer. Whether it's an answer you'll like is another matter, but an answer for you. So please, and I know that, do you know what? Listen, even if you're not sure you want to ask a question, because you will receive answers, even if you don't ask the question. Ada, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's wonderful working with you. Wonderful. And I thank you for that.
It's been a real pleasure. So folks, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you've enjoyed the program as much as we have, and we'll see you again next week. Love, peace and light to you all. Namaste.